Hi, I'm Neil Sharma, President of Spice Technology Group, and I'm here with Marina Garvilo from HMV Canada, and we're going to talk about the state of EDI B2B integration within the retail industry. We'll talk a little bit about where we've come from over the past few decades in EDI. We'll talk about what's happening today in the world of omni-channel that's giving rise to more and more adoption of EDI. And we will also spend some time talking about what we're seeing as the future of EDI over the next 10 years. So stay tuned. The state of EDI and B2B integration in retail is good. It's been a technology that has been utilized for several decades now in various stages, from early infancy to fairly levels, or from early infancy to levels of maturity that exist today. Except that the industry that it serves is changing quite a bit. And retail has been affected by omni-channel, and omni-channel has become a challenge that integration is meant to solve. So there is a huge use case for EDI and B2B in retail.
As we know, EDI is in business since the late 70s or mid 70s, and it's many people think that it has its heyday back maybe in the mid 90s, and from that point on it started to kind of slow down as new technologies evolve. But we have to admit that there's still a huge demand for EDI. And there is definitely, I agree with Neil here, there's definitely a place for EDI in as new technologies evolve. And although there are a few challenges that EDI is facing these days, and one of them is because it's highly structured model that is pretty much static, and it needs some kind of interface that would convey this data and present data in a new, more visible and transparent way for end customers.
There's been a lot of talk about the API economy, as we call it, which is the applications today that are being developed require real-time feeds of data. And there's been a lot of talk about, with web services being evolved at such high level and being utilized, will EDI still be around? And EDI still has a fairly important purpose that it is serving, because at least within retail, the data structures are semantic, which simply means that organizations that are utilizing data or EDI have very specific use cases for them, and it also defines the business process that they're enabling through EDI. So EDI still will be around. At what levels, it's still to be determined, but it's still its growth within the market today has been still an eye-opener, and it's still growing at between 7 and 10% per year. And we're really happy to see many companies still adopting EDI, especially in their supply chain.
As Neil just mentioned, that EDI will still be growing, and I heard a different number. I heard that even 20%, there's a room for growth up to 20%. And we have to bring up another point here. That is, a lot of companies invested a lot of capital into initial startup of EDI businesses. So it's a legacy that not many companies would want to give up at this point. So we have to find a way to bring new technologies that would utilize the existing EDI system environment and bring it up to the new level. And again, as business environment is changing, and we're new business models being introduced in the market, like smaller to mid-sized companies are entering the market, and retailers will face this new environment, and we have to adjust our existing EDI business into new realities. For example, before, let's say 20 years ago or something, when we were at the high point with EDI business, only 10% of your suppliers, for example, give you almost 95 to 97% of all your business, which was pretty easy and made a lot of sense to introduce EDI. because all you need at the time just to, to bring into your network just 10% of your supplies, and you get all the business you need. These days, retailers are struggling with the new realities, and they try to introduce a more variety of different products. That means more small to mid-size businesses, and all of a sudden they found themselves that they don't have 95 to 97% of automation anymore. So there's a need for new technologies on the top of the existing technologies.
I think it's a great point that, within retail, as we have been talking about the need to increase assortment. And assortment can't be increased by the same 10 suppliers or same 20 suppliers that you've been dealing with. Today you need, as a retailer, to reach out to hundreds of new suppliers, and you've got to bring their product data into your organization. And as a result, you have to, again, B2B integration is really important. But a lot of those suppliers might be small suppliers. They may be distributors that don't have access to either EDI technology, let alone web services and API and a much more difficult type of technology to implement. And so things such as web EDI remains very relevant in how do you bring a large supplier base on pretty quickly in order to work as a retailer and increase that assortment so that retailers can lead their customers can have a better assortment and sell more product faster. So it certainly remains very, very relevant today.